My wife's at work, so I decided to set up my tub right in the sink. She probably wouldn't like that if she was here. So anyways, a couple of videos ago, I did a bunch of cons cleanup stuff through all my equipment, and I finally got around to panning all the stuff that, all the rest, the concentrates that went by everything. And that's the gold that I had left over. Very, very small. And any of the little bit bigger pieces are nice and round. And I think I mentioned before on that Miller table, if you don't watch it, that stuff will roll right off the end. And I think that's what happened with those pieces. So if you didn't see that video, I will post a link in the description below so you can go check that out. But that's all the gold that bypassed everything. And I'm not surprised. I always do find a little bit of gold in the tailings of the Miller gold table because, like I said, the gold rolls off from it, and I don't know, there's not a lot you can do about it. I run it pretty flat. So if anybody has any tips or tricks on that thing, let me know. Anyway, we're going to move on here. I got some other stuff that I want to talk about, so let's get into that. Well, that was fun. Seemed to have lost some gold down the old Miller table. But, it's kind of like why I'm not a doctor. I have no patience. So, what can I say? So I'd like to talk a little bit about black sand today. Kind of the bane of every gold panner's existence, I think. If you're new to gold panning or been watching my videos and never gone gold panning, never went gold panning, something like that, you hear us talk about black sand a lot. So black sand is just like, it's ground up mineral in the iron group. Like, it's probably got some iron in it, some hematite, some magnetite. The good thing about it is, a couple good things about it, we'll go over the good points first, is it's magnetic. So magnets will help you get rid of the black sand. The other good thing about it is it can be an indicator as to where the gold is in the stream. Just real quick, I'm throwing up a picture of a small section of Buffalo Brook, and I drew a line down through to sort of give you an idea of where the gold and black sand flow in this brook. As you'll see, the heavier stuff tends to lean towards the inside corners, and as the water comes off the corner and slows down through the straight sections, the black sand and gold sort of make a transition across to the next inside bend. Now, in the bottom half of this picture, I sort of lean the line towards the inside of the next turn, but I think in reality, depending on the water flow, all that stuff will sort of lean towards the middle, especially in Buffalo, where the water tends to flow more towards the edges of the brook and not the center. Where the water slows down in the middle, it'll settle in there. But if you have a good metal detector like the Nocta Legend, which will tell you ground mineralization, you can tell where the heaviest black sand deposits are, and you can follow that right up the brook. I don't know. I think I don't know of any other detectors. None of my other ones will tell you what the level of ground mineralization is, but the Legend does. Also, in Buffalo, I've noticed that the gold doesn't really run in the heaviest concentrates of black sand. It does sort of go beside it. So you don't necessarily have to be in the heaviest sections of the black sand to find the gold in Buffalo. It more than likely, if there's going to be gold with it, and they don't always run together, But if you're going to find the gold, it's just off to the side of it. So if you're in really heavy deposits of black sand, try doing a cross section of the brook, and you might just find that the gold is running a foot off from the center line, so to speak, of the heaviest black sand line. So just a quick tip on buffalo anyway. Like everything else, there's only one golden rule when it comes to gold panning, and that's gold's where you find it. More of an observation. That's the right word I'm looking for. It's more of an observation, my observation through a number of years of panning on buffalo. Hope it helps. The bad things about it is it's hard to pan. Gold is 19 times heavier than water, and the black sand is 9 times heavier than water. So, and it's also very dense. The smaller the particles of black sand are, the harder it is for the gold to get through it and get to the bottom of your pan. So it mixes in with the black sand. The black sand doesn't want to move when you're trying to pan the stuff. So in my way of thinking, which isn't always the right way, the best way to deal with black sand is to just get rid of it. And the easiest way I've found to get rid of it is this little thing over here. It's tracking my face. That little contraption there, the dry magnetic separator. But there's also other ways to do it using other types of magnets. Let me spin the camera around and I'll show you. So I have a pan of black sand here, and I also have a spot of black sand right there in that pan with a little bit of gold in it. The problem with this is a plunge magnet. So you press down on the top, it pushes the magnet to the bottom. That picks up the stuff. You can see some of the gold left behind, and then you just drop off your black sand into another container. But the problem is when it does that and you can see the gold, that it picks up a fair amount of gold with it. It left behind some gold, but it also brought some gold over. So you find yourself quite often going back and forth a few times, picking the black sand up and dropping it in hopes that you're going to leave your gold behind. That's one way of moving, and it's very inexpensive. These things are pretty cheap. Another way is this right here. I kind of like this little jobby. It's a spin it off magnet, and it works sort of on the same theory as the dry magnetic separator does. It has a series of magnets inside, so as that thing spins, the black sand kind of dances on it. The only problem with that is it's a two-handed rig, and sometimes, well, you just don't have the use of both hands. So let's show you how that thing works. So basically how this thing works is it's hooked up to a drill. This part's clamped in the chuck. You hold this part, and when you put a battery in and pull the trigger, that spins the magnets inside of that, so you can pick up, see how the gold is dancing. And you just bring it over. The camera didn't catch that. Let's turn the camera. Whoops! When you have gold on the end of the thing, you just slide the magnets back and it drops all the black sand off. And the theory is, the way that black sand is dancing, any gold that's picked up into the black sand is released as the gold dances around. Instead of it grabbing a whole handful of gold, it picks it up piece by piece, just a lot of pieces by pieces. Anyway, it's the best way I could describe it. I know it's not that great, but That's a cool rig, but the mining magnet tool is my favorite because you can feed it and forget it, and it runs itself while I can go do other things. Usually I'm setting up a gold table while that's running or whatever. Like I said in my last video, I'll leave a link in the description. We ran the mining magnets rig. I'm not affiliated with them. It's just a really great tool. It's one of my favorite tools. I use it all the time. I guess all this works really well when you're just a small hobbyist such as myself. What if you're a lot bigger operation, like old Dozer Dave on that certain show that I watch and love? I don't know if you folks watch it, but a couple years ago he got into an area on his claim that the black sand was so overwhelming that he couldn't process the gold through his plant. So, I mean, all this is well and good for us hobbyists, but when you get into that kind of major operation, I got nothing for you. So I hope this helps us little guys out, and maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't. Let me know if I got anything wrong. But that's how I process and deal with black sand. I don't generally mess around with it on the river too much. I just put it in a container, bring it home, dry it out, and process it here. Anyway, that's it for me today. If you made it this far in my video, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You guys mean the world to me watching my videos. I love seeing the comments. Don't be afraid to let me know when I'm wrong, or if you'd like to see something. I'm probably going to pick up a few things here and there and test that stuff out. Of course, if my pals over at High Plains Prospectors have it, I will buy it from them. If not, then I won't buy it there. As simple as that. I do have an affiliate link, and I will place a link below. If you folks need anything for this upcoming season, feel free to use that link. It doesn't cost you any more, and I get a little touch out of it, which is really appreciated. Again, just thanks for watching. I really appreciate you folks coming by and giving me a little bit of your time. It means a lot. Till next time, I will catch y'all later. See ya, boy.